We won't be able to book. We can't book a table at 7.
Oh no!
So someone's got to drop out.
No! The roof's going to cave in. It's going to be terrible.
Listen, I know you're laughing at me.
Who's going to? I am. Who's going to? Well, you're allowed to laugh at me. That's fine. Who's?
That isn't.
I can't go to the restaurant with the others.
But what I'm saying is that I don't want to criticise you, but I'm about to.
Feel free to if you wish to.
No, you sound like a really lovely person, and I've listened to your show over a number of months and heard how your loyalty to your family and looking after your mum, etc., etc. I do think you are a little bit guilty, or you risk. Let's just say you risk at the moment of stoking an hysteria around this.
Do I?
And actually, I think so. I think probably at the moment, I mean, I thought this was a call in yesterday where people were saying, can I do this? Can I not do that? And it was all very kind of earnest. And I just think,
well, do you know what I was earnest about? If I was earnest yesterday, Simon, I was earnest about getting it right for people who had a question. So when people rang in with a question, I wanted or Ben, who was with me, Ben Kentish, to give them the right answer. And in many cases, you'll remember, the right answer was, yes, you can have that party. Yes, you can do that thing. And here are the circumstances in which it will be lawful. And here are the circumstances and numbers in which it wouldn't be. That's just public service broadcasting, really, is what we were doing in that hour. That's all that is.
I get that. I just think... well, firstly, I can't see that, I cannot believe that the police can be patrolling the streets and knocking on the door if you have 7, 8 or 9 people in your house, unless you have particularly malicious neighbours who are, reporting you. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. Surely this is about using good common sense and using the law as a guide to a certain degree.
The law as a guide?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
guidelines are a guide. The law is the law.
Well, I think, been a very good citizen throughout all of this. I've seen very few people since March. I've washed my hands, I've worn my mask, I've gone, I've done all the right things going in there at supermarkets, I've kept it at a distance, I've crossed the street to avoid people, etc. I've got to tell you, if I had 7 people due to come for dinner next week, they would still come for dinner. I would still have them. Because it's about...
what about a party of 20?
No, I wouldn't have a party of 20.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that because
You've got some standards then.
I've got a lot of standards too, let's be honest.
I'm kidding you.
No, but the point is, well, firstly, this is all being led. I mean, you have to remember, I don't want to make this too political, but it's being led from the top by a man who shook hands with COVID patients at the beginning, was one of the only world leaders to get COVID and ended up in intensive care. I don't really rate his advice very much, and it's also being led by
but actually, he is now following and giving us the advice of Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance and those two institutions that they represent. I mean, are you just ignoring science and doctors now?
I would say I'm following it as far as sensible and as with a good dose of common sense. So I think that's what you've got to avoid. I mean, I've stopped people in the street before and said, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" Or I've got a cross at the height of it. I'd be in a queue to get food in the supermarket and see 3 young girls all over each other laughing around in front of the queue, not distancing. And I said to them, so I've done my fair bit of picking people up on things.
But how can you criticise them if you've already decided that you're going to sneakily break the rules yourself? At least they were doing it in the open.
No, I think it's about common sense. And what they're trying to avoid is huge gatherings, really.
No, they're not. They're not. They are trying to avoid huge gatherings, but huge gatherings are far from the only place where this community transmission is being driven. It's the home.
Are you telling me, sure, you wouldn't have 7 people in your home from next week?
Absolutely not.
You really wouldn't?
Absolutely not.
Is that not being a little bit prescriptive and a bit forelock tugging, towards the authorities?
No.
I mean, listen, it's going to be my birthday next week. 2 years ago, I had 20 people here for drinks at my house. I wouldn't do that next week. I am meant to be meeting some relatives.
Well, hang on a second, Simon. You know what? I think you're a little bit judgmental, dare I say, which is a bit rich coming from me today. But it does. But here's the thing. You keep saying, I wouldn't do this, but I would do that.
It's about reason, isn't it, and common sense.
Yeah, but if you're drawing a line somewhere, it's because you're making a judgment. And you're saying that I'm tugging my forelock to the government, which will be a first. But you have decided that you won't have your birthday party. With 20 people there. I don't think you're. By the way, I wouldn't criticise you for that. I would applaud you for that. But when I make a decision not to have 7 people in my house, why am I somehow kowtowing to Boris Johnson? But when you make a decision not to have 20 in your house, you're the dude with all the common sense. Why do I get to be the dull one who's kowtowing to the government, and you get to be the dude with all the common sense?
It's a good point.
Yeah, you see, Mr. Judgy.
It's about balance. And you
everyone says that when they want to do their own thing. It's about balance. You do. You follow the rules, and I won't.
Do you not? Well, hang on. Do you not feel it's you'll be a little bit to the letter by going, I can't have 7 people. Do you not think that's a little bit sort of doffing the cap too much? You've just got to use common sense.
Well, where does common sense...
I mean, I'm meant to be having dinner with relatives next week. We're meant to be booking a table for... There are 7 of us, 7 cousins. We've now had to reluctantly come to the decision that 6 will attend. And for however... because
to attend what? Attend what?
Attend a restaurant, because we won't be able to book... We can't book a table at 7.
Oh, no!
So someone's got to drop out.
No, the roof's going to cave in. It's going to be terrible.
Listen, I know you're laughing at me.
Who's going to... I am. Who's going to... Well, you're allowed to laugh at me. That's fine. Who's... I can't go to the restaurant with the others. It's
but what I'm saying is that is the law in action. That's a restaurant saying we can't take 7 of you. Yeah. But if I was due to have 7 people around for dinner, I would not say, I've got to drop one of you now. I'm
afraid I'm going to reveal my hand here, Simon. I am the neighbour that's capable of snitching.
Would you? If you lived next door to me, would you phone the police?
It depends what I thought was going on.
Well, that's very judgmental.
I know. I make no bones about it. I'm horribly judgmental when people break the law.
Really? You'd pick up the phone and phone if you thought there were 7 people having dinner at your neighbour's house?
Depends what the 7 go on to do and who they live with.
But by your reckoning, you've got to abide by the rules. So actually, yes, you should pick up the phone.
The law.
So you should pick
Simon,
up the phone.
The law. Yeah. If I saw someone stealing your gate, I'd ring the police. The law.
So if I go and have a picnic on your doorstep, 7 or 8 people, in a few weeks' time, you will report me.
Only after I'd thrown a bucket of cold water over all 7 of you.
I would expect you to report me now. You've got to report me on that basis. Look, I respect you. I think you're slightly stressing people over it. I think we've got to be a little bit more adult about it. Yeah, I do. But respect the law.
How do you feel about the 50,000 people who died between April and July?
I think it's absolutely horrific. But I don't.
And why do you think it wasn't 100,000?
Well, it could have been 25,000 if we'd locked down earlier. That's my view on it.
So now, Mr. Discipline. All of a sudden, you're Mr. Discipline. But the reason it wasn't 100,000 or 150,000 is because of lockdown. Is because good people like you and me, Simon, restrained our behaviour. I know you did. I know. And that's what we saved lives by behaving in a more contained way. Plain and simple.
But I don't think having 6 or 7 people in your house is going to make a great deal of difference to how many die now. I genuinely don't believe that.
But do you agree, Simon, that in common behaviour, when you make decisions in a communal sense, and I've been accused of being a communist today, which is hilarious. I think
you're very subservient, but I don't know much about you, but I bet you're a woman that dots all the I's and crosses the T's and never breaks the rules. I don't think you're someone who would ever take a risk. I don't know. I could be wrong.
You're very wrong, Simon. You're very, very wrong. Very wrong.
Do you want to come around for dinner next week, Sheila?
Only if there's only you, me and 4 other people.
Well, I've got a dog and a cat, so
They don't count. They don't count, Simon. They don't count. This guy, says this texter, should use common sense and obey the letter of the law. Here, I'll go round to that person's house for dinner.